Protect Me, You, Us, a shared clinical decision-making approach for adult COVID-19 vaccine conversations. This video is brought to you by the Behavioral Health and Wellness Program at the University of Colorado Anschutz Medical Campus, with support from the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. Healthcare providers remain the most trusted source for information about vaccinations, and there are low-burden strategies to effectively talk with patients about any uncertainty or concerns they may have. In this video, we suggest specific strategies and language that you can use to address mistrust of and concerns regarding COVID-19 vaccines. There is a three-step evidence-based process to maximize vaccine acceptance. 1. Assess disposition. 2. Use motivational interviewing, or MI, to talk it out. 3. Make a plan. These steps, built upon shared clinical decision-making and motivational interviewing skills and strategies, will assist you to increase patients' motivation for change. Past research has found that even vaccine-hesitant participants remain open to learning about vaccines. When treated in a respectful and affirming manner, the majority of patients express a genuine desire to have an open and honest conversation with medical experts. Many vaccine-hesitant patients will eventually decide to be vaccinated, but this is often based on a decision-making process rather than a one-time conversation. Through effective conversations, you can start patients on their personal path to health. In this video, you'll see some common conversations about the COVID-19 vaccine, featuring healthcare visits with patients who are vaccine hesitant, to demonstrate how to move through the 3 steps to vaccine acceptance. Now let's start with step 1, assess patient disposition. With COVID-19 vaccination conversations, you'll want to start from a shared clinical decision-making approach and offer a vaccine recommendation. The recommendation and any information you provide should be offered in a collaborative way. You want to communicate acceptance, curiosity, and autonomy support. Likely, your conversation will start with a question, such as, "Did you get your COVID-19 vaccine yet?" If the patient's answer is no, you'll want to follow up with something like, "What are your thoughts about getting it?" Based on your patient's response, you can assess their disposition. There are 4 vaccine dispositions to consider. 1, a person can be accepting. This individual is open to getting the vaccine, so no additional conversation is needed. 2, there's the cautious acceptor. A patient may have questions about the vaccine or need more information to confirm they want to take the vaccine. 3, they can be hesitant. With someone who's hesitant, you'll want to engage in a dialogue about their concerns, align their priorities and values with getting vaccinated, and evoke their motivation to accept a vaccination. 4, there's the refuser. With a patient who is firm in their stance against taking the COVID-19 vaccine, your priority is to invite an ongoing dialogue about vaccination. Now let's meet some patients, Teresa, Cal, and Aaron, as they talk with their provider, Dr. Kelly, who asks them about their interest in getting the COVID-19 vaccine.
Hello, Teresa. Thanks for coming in.
Well, thanks for seeing me.
So your thyroid tests are back, and I think we may have an answer as to why you've been so tired lately. I'd like to review your results and go over your options, but first I wanted to check in on the COVID-19 vaccine. Have you gotten vaccinated yet?
Well, I haven't had a chance to even think about it. It's been so busy. It's so stressful for me now.
You've been so busy and so stressed you haven't had time to even think about it.
That's right. It's been hard enough for me to get here today. I had to take 2 buses, and I was just about to miss the second one. I almost didn't make it.
It took a lot of effort for you to make it to our appointment today. I know it's not easy to get here by bus. You're obviously committed to your health, and I really appreciate your effort.
Yes, I'm on the buses all the time, and it's very exhausting, but I don't have any other choice.
Well, I certainly understand. Well, since you haven't had time to think about it on your own, would it be okay with you if we take a few minutes right now to talk about the COVID-19 vaccine?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
What are your thoughts about getting the vaccine?
Doctor, if you could give it to me today, I'd take it. I really worry about getting the COVID-19 and bring it to my family. But I'm out there all the time taking buses, cleaning rooms at the hotel, going to the grocery store, everything. I wear 2 masks. I wash my hands all the time. They're so dry. But I worry at night that I'm going to get sick, bring the virus to my family.
Now that we've heard from Teresa, what do you think is her disposition? Is she an acceptor, cautious acceptor, hesitant, or a refuser? Take a moment to consider your assessment. She's a cautious acceptor because she doesn't have any internal conflict about getting the vaccine. Her concerns are logistical. Before Dr. Kelly engaged in this conversation with her, she may have looked like she was hesitant. She says she hasn't thought about the vaccine, and her presentation of being stressed and irritated could be taken in error as a sign of being hesitant or a refuser. Now let's meet Cal.
Hello, Mr. Wilson.
Please, call me Cal.
Nice to see you today, Cal. I know you're here to talk about your blood pressure, but before we get into that, I'd like to ask, have you gotten your COVID-19 vaccine yet?
No, not yet.
Well, because you have 2 chronic health conditions, AFib and hypertension, you're at a greater risk of developing a severe case of COVID-19. Additionally, African Americans carry a higher risk of having a severe case of COVID-19. What are your thoughts about getting vaccinated?
To be honest, I'm not sure that I'm ready to take the vaccine now. I may want to wait a while and see how things play out. Who knows if the vaccine is even safe?
So you want to see how others do on the vaccine before you take it. You're not quite ready yet.
Yes, I don't think so.
What do you think about Cal's disposition? Is he an acceptor, cautious acceptor, hesitant, or a refuser? Consider your assessment. He's hesitant. We hear very clearly from him that he's been thinking about the vaccine and has some concerns about vaccine safety. Let's see what's going on for Aaron.
Hello, Aaron. It's good to see you again. How are you doing?
Oh, it's all right. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, all things considered.
So I know you're here to talk about your asthma and to refill your prescriptions. But before we get into that, I just wanted to find out about the COVID-19 vaccine. I know during your last visit, you said you did not plan on getting vaccinated. What are your thoughts now that the vaccine is available?
I don't know. I still haven't made an appointment yet.
Sounds like you're thinking about it.
Look, I don't think I need it, all right? But my girlfriend wants me to get it, so.
What's Aaron's disposition? Is he an acceptor, cautious acceptor, hesitant, or a refuser? He's hesitant. We see from their conversation that he was a refuser in their previous visit. However, we can tell from what he's saying that he could be open to considering it. We definitely want the opportunity to hear more. Now is the time for step 2. Use MI to talk it out. Once you've identified your patient's disposition, you'll want to proceed based on this information. For patients who are accepting, you can help to arrange for their vaccination. For those who are cautiously accepting, you will want to answer any questions and provide the information they need. With patients who are hesitant and refusing, you'll want to use MI skills and strategies to talk through their concerns to evoke their motivation for vaccination. MI is a collaborative conversational style that enhances motivation and commitment to change. To increase uptake of the COVID-19 vaccine by vaccine hesitant or refusing patients, you'll want to engage in specific MI skills and strategies. Remember, the goal of your conversation is to increase motivation to get the vaccine. The goal is not to persuade them to get the vaccine. Let's watch as Dr. Kelly continues her conversations with her patients. We'll highlight MI skills and strategies that she uses to support vaccination.
So your worry about COVID has you so stressed out, and you want more than anything for you and your family to be protected.
Exactly. But you can't do it today, right? I know I have to wait for my turn, get on a list or something, or go somewhere else. Who knows where?
The obstacles feel big despite your desire and best intentions to protect yourself.
Yes, and I'm only one person. That's what I tell my husband. And it's not his fault that I'm stressed out. He lost his job as a cook about 8 months ago when the restaurant closed, and now he's home taking care of the kids, and I'm the only one working.
I'm so sorry to hear that your husband lost his job. You are both so stressed, and still you work together doing your best to provide for the kids. It's impressive.
We're doing the best we can.
I hear that. Regarding your added stress, you are not alone. So many of my patients tell me that they are anxious and worried. Like you, they just want to be vaccinated so that this pandemic can be over and we can all go back to normal.
Amen. I just want my husband to get back to work and for the kids to go back to school. And I don't want to work overtime every day to make ends meet or to go to bed so worried that we're all going to get sick.
So it sounds like you are ready to be vaccinated, more than ready. In fact, you would do it right now if we had access to the vaccine in our clinic. Your main issues with getting vaccinated are practical ones, like finding the time to locate sites that have the vaccine, make an appointment, and getting the vaccine without having to travel for hours or miss a day of work. It seems to me that if we can help you with some of those issues, you would be happily vaccinated. Am I getting that right?
Yes, definitely. If someone could help, that would be great.
Did you notice how she used open-ended questions, reflections, and affirmations to develop a sense of trust and partnership? With the space to talk through her stress, we see that much of Teresa's stress is related to COVID, and getting the vaccine could reduce some of her concerns. She's worried about her safety and the safety of her family. Without her own car, she struggles to get around on the bus. This adds an extra layer of difficulty for her to get to her appointments. And as the sole provider in her household right now, it's hard for her to take time off work to get her vaccination. We see that she's open to vaccination if some of these obstacles could be removed. Did you see how Dr. Kelly normalized Teresa's experience of feeling anxious and worried, and how getting vaccinated can help everyone get back to normal? Think about the MI skills and strategies you currently use and could incorporate into vaccine conversations. Now, let's see what's going on with Cal.
Tell me more.
Yeah, well, I'm not convinced that any of these vaccines are safe. I mean, they were created almost overnight, right?
That's a valid concern, Cal. And to be perfectly honest, I had the same concern when I first learned that the vaccines were being released. I reviewed the data very closely, just like you.
And?
Well, though it may seem like these vaccines were developed very quickly, in fact, the coronavirus, which causes COVID-19, is similar to other coronavirus strains that have been around for a long time. Researchers had already been studying these viruses. So the COVID-19 vaccine did not start from scratch. Beyond that, every possible resource was put into the development of these vaccines. Money and regulatory approval were available, and the vaccine technology already existed. And all vaccines must be proven safe and effective before they are given to people. The COVID-19 vaccine is no exception. Beyond the studies, the vaccines are being proven safe every day as millions of Coloradans have already taken them. And nationally, many more millions have also received the vaccine.
So that means you got one yourself.
Oh, I did. I got vaccinated as soon as it was available to me, and I recommend that all my eligible patients consider getting vaccinated. In fact, my 93-year-old grandmother has gotten both shots. What do you think about the information I've shared with you?
That all sounds good, but I still don't know. You say that African Americans are at higher risk of getting really sick or dying from COVID, and that's pretty scary. But this country, and especially medical research, has not always been good to brothers like me. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want to be the first in line for a new medicine.
You know the history, and you want to be sure of the safety of a treatment before you take it.
Yeah, it's not just historical, though. Right now, today, lots of black folks are not getting good health care.
It's not an old story, something that happened in the past. Healthcare inequality is still very real today.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that way.
No, it shouldn't be that way. You know, I appreciate how thoughtfully you are working through this decision. What other questions do you have for me?
I like it that you're straight with me, but I guess it would help to know that enough black people were included in the studies and that it's just as safe for us, too.
I can see why that would be very concerning to you, Cal, and I have some information that might ease your mind. May I share it with you?
Please do.
Well, I can tell you that African Americans represent about 13% of the population in the U.S. and 10% of the study participants in the Pfizer and Moderna studies. It's not perfect, but it's a pretty good representation. The vaccines were proven safe and effective for all the participants, regardless of race or ethnicity. What do you think about that?
Okay, well, that's good to know.
I'm curious, Cal, beyond the safety concerns, what personal benefits, if any, do you see from getting vaccinated?
Well, from the beginning, my biggest worry has been catching COVID and bringing it home to my ex-wife and daughter. My little girl, she has CP, and she's confined to a wheelchair, and my ex is her primary caregiver. So if anything happened to either one of them, I'd feel awful. And if my ex got COVID, honestly, I don't know how we'd care for my daughter. Of course, my ex is now vaccinated, so maybe there's a little less concern. But still, the thought of one of them getting sick, it's weighed heavy on me the entire year.
You love your daughter and you want to protect her. Protecting her has been your biggest priority this year.
Yes, she's more important to me than anything in the world.
And it's equally important to you that your ex stay healthy also so that she's able to care for your daughter.
Yeah, we've all been working hard to keep COVID away. And if the vaccines were safe, I guess that would be the obvious next step. But from my perspective, it's still a big if.
Okay, I think I understand where you stand. You've talked of your concerns about safety of the vaccines, especially in light of the rapid development timeline, as well as specific concerns for yourself as an African American man. With the caveat that we don't yet know the safety long-term of these vaccines, the data so far indicate that they are safe and effective for most adults. You feel that getting the vaccine would be the logical next step after working so hard to make sure that everyone was safe this past year, and yet at the same time, it's equally important to you that you make an informed decision.
I may not be one of the first to get vaccinated, but I'll eventually do it. I just need to know that it's safe.
You might not be the first to get the vaccine, but you won't be the last.
Yeah, you got it.
Did you notice how Dr. Kelly used open-ended questions and reflections to understand Cal's perspective? She used self-disclosure to align herself with him. We see that Cal's primary concern is the speed with which the vaccines were developed. He wonders about vaccine safety. Here, Dr. Kelly is transparent and honest about what we know and don't know about the vaccine. Cal's also hesitant given the history of how Black people have been treated by the healthcare industry. He's very aware of the inequities in healthcare today. At this point, Dr. Kelly is empathic and uses reflective listening to express her desire to understand his experience. Primarily, Cal's concern is about his health and its impact on the health of his daughter and ex-wife. Notice how Dr. Kelly highlights his value of keeping his family protected from COVID. When it comes to specific questions, Dr. Kelly focuses on responding only to his question without adding any other information. She also asks for permission to provide information, which demonstrates respect for Cal's autonomy. Now let's take a look at what's going on with Aaron.
I think I told you last time that I was in that I've already had COVID. And since I was sick for a day or two, I'm pretty sure I have antibodies. So don't really see the point in getting vaccinated at this point, you know?
You can't see any benefit from getting vaccinated since you're fully protected already.
Okay, well, maybe not fully protected. I mean, life's risky, right? People get sick. I mean, I got it. Wasn't the end of the world. I mean, look, here I am, talking with you about my asthma, just like last year. Just like every year.
It's the same as it's always been for you.
In some ways, yeah.
You also said that you're not fully protected. What does that mean for you?
Well, just that even though I've already had COVID, it means I can still get it again. And I guess I can pass it to others.
Yes, it's rare, but reinfections do happen.
Yeah, see, that's the part that gets me, passing it.
Your community was hit hard, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, the construction jobs I do are mainly in residential facilities. And they had a couple big outbreaks this fall. And that's where I got the virus in the first place. Me, a bunch of the residents, and like half the facility staff.
So sorry that happened, Aaron. It sounds like it was a tough time for everyone.
Well, my coworkers did fine. I mean, half of them wouldn't even know they had COVID if they didn't get tested. And for me, like I said, I was only down for like a day or two. It's just like it was a bad cold. But for some of those residents who live in the facility, they died. And that was pretty sad.
You feel bad about what happened to them.
And my girlfriend's grandma, I mean, she wasn't even in the facility, and she was already sick with a bunch of other ailments, but she died after she got COVID. I mean, that's the thing. Before Amy's grandma died, we used to joke about all the COVID hype. Like, yes, sick and old people died, but for the rest of us, I mean, for most people, it just wasn't a big deal.
You didn't see it as a serious thing since you and your friends can't die from it.
Exactly. And a big part of me still feels that way. But not Amy. No, she's now on a mission to get everybody vaccinated.
She really wants you to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
And that's why your thoughts have changed a bit.
Look, Amy's amazing, right? And her heart's in the right place. But she's still reeling from the death of her grandma. And I just want to support her.
And getting vaccinated is one way that you can show her you understand and care.
Yeah, that's it.
Are there any other reasons for getting vaccinated?
Honestly, no. I mean, I don't think I'd be doing it otherwise. And most of my friends feel the same way.
Well, I just want you to know that I am very moved by your support for your girlfriend. It's a special thing. Okay, so let's see where we are on this. You said during our last visit that you wouldn't get vaccinated even if a vaccine were available to you. And a part of you still feels it isn't necessary. On the other hand, your community saw a lot of loss because of COVID-19, and you feel sad about that. But perhaps saddest of all is the loss of Amy's grandma. And now Amy wants you to get vaccinated, and you care deeply for her, and you want to support her in any way you can. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, that's about it.
In this segment, we see Dr. Kelly accepting Aaron's perspective, even though it is different from her own. She doesn't challenge him to try to see things differently. She strategically uses reflections to evoke motivation, such as when she overshoots and reflects back to him, "You feel fully protected already, and there's no benefit to getting vaccinated." Did you notice how Aaron self-corrects and makes his own case for vaccination? Dr. Kelly focuses on what is really important to Aaron, which is his relationship with his girlfriend and his desire to support her. In her summary, Dr. Kelly starts with the reasons Aaron doesn't believe he needs to be vaccinated and ends on the side of vaccination and its connection to his core value. Let's turn to our last step, step 3, make a plan. By now you have a good sense of your patient's stance on getting vaccinated. Ask the question, now that we have talked about the vaccine, what do you want to do? If the person accepts the vaccine, support them to take steps to get the vaccine. For people who want to think about it, offer an affirmation or an autonomy support statement, such as, "You'll know what is right for you." Whether your patient accepts the vaccination or not, let them know that you will continue to talk with them about it by saying, let's continue to talk about the COVID-19 vaccine. Is it all right by you if I bring it up again the next time we meet? Keep the conversational door open for anyone who is not yet vaccinated. Regardless if the person is hesitant or a refuser, you want to revisit this conversation in future visits. Now let's take a look at how Dr. Kelly makes a plan with each of her patients.
So you'd like help to get the vaccine. Well, let's see how we can support you getting the vaccine without causing more stress.
Okay, that sounds great.
We have 2 patient navigators in this clinic who have been working with some of our patients to get the vaccine. I can have one of them contact you directly to assess your needs and connect you with resources, including transportation, if you have to travel to a site.
That's amazing. I would be happy to talk to them.
And I know you're very busy. What would be a good time for one of them to reach you?
The afternoon is best, after 3 o'clock. My shift starts early and it takes me an hour to get back home.
All right, I'll have the patient navigator reach out to you tomorrow after 3 p.m. And she may also be able to help arrange transportation to our clinic visits so you don't have to take the bus anymore.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, let's take a look at those test results.
Okay.
Since Teresa's primary obstacle is transportation, Dr. Kelly connects her with a patient navigator who will be able to help her with transportation. In your clinic, who are the people that can provide this kind of support to someone like Teresa? If there is no one who can provide this kind of support, you'll need to work with your patient to find other resources in their community. In this type of case, be sure there is follow-up to ensure that the patient is able to connect to the resources discussed.
So, where are we now? What would you like to do?
I guess I'll think about it a little more and talk with some of my friends who've already gotten the vaccine to see how they handle it.
That sounds like a good start, Cal. I'll support you in making the best decision for you and your family, but ultimately, it's a decision that only you can make. What I can do is to continue to monitor the data closely and be honest about what we know and what we don't know. Feel free to call my office with any additional questions.
Thanks, Dr. Kelly. I really appreciate that.
Of course, and since this is so important to both of us, would it be all right by you if I bring it up during our next visit?
If I haven't already gotten my shot, we can talk about it again.
All right, let's take a look at these blood pressure concerns.
Cal needs more time to think about what he wants to do. Dr. Kelly offers an autonomy support statement to communicate clearly with him that he is in control and the decision is his. Then she asks him, is it all right by you if I bring it up again in our next visit? Through this question, Dr. Kelly keeps the conversational door open with Cal, setting them up for a follow-up conversation the next time they meet.
So, what's next for you?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get vaccinated. I mean, it's not like it costs anything, you know?
I'm really glad you came to a decision, and it does seem like the best one for you. And you know where I stand. The sooner we can get the majority of people vaccinated, the sooner we can all get back to a normal life. We all want to be together again. That's why I got vaccinated as soon as it was available to me. So what support or resources, if any, do you need to get your vaccine?
I don't think I need anything. Amy's already got me signed up. I just need to confirm the appointment.
Oh, so you'll be sure to get an appointment in the next couple days.
Knowing Amy, it'll probably be tomorrow. I do have one question for you, though, Doc.
Yeah, what's that?
How long is this vaccine supposed to be effective?
We don't yet know how long the protection will last for those that have been vaccinated. There is a possibility of a booster shot, but only time will tell.
Yeah, life's risky, right?
Indeed, it is. We make informed decisions based on the knowledge we have. I'm happy you were able to make an informed decision today. And if it's all right with you, I'd like to check in with you about this during our next visit.
Yeah, sure, if you want, Doc. but I'm pretty sure I'll be vaccinated by the next time I come in. Amy will make sure of that.
This is an example of how someone can change their disposition. Aaron refused vaccination in a previous visit and now states that he is open to getting it. As you can see, there is power of persuasion within every community. And for Aaron, it's the influence of his girlfriend Amy that has changed his view. Even so, this conversation with Dr. Kelly reinforces his new stance, and their planning ensures he will follow through with vaccination. In this video, we demonstrated a simple 3-step process for patients who are COVID-19 vaccine hesitant. 1. Assess disposition. 2. Use MI to increase motivation. And 3. Make a plan. For more information or to arrange for additional training in motivational interviewing and COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy, visit our website www.bhwellness.org.